Welcome. We are back. Another week is upon us. New overlay. Probably gonna have this for like a month. Hopefully looks good. Got a couple cool things in here. Like that. We got some vibes. I don't know. Hopefully enjoy it. We're back. I'm excited for this week. I'm really excited for this week. I'm gonna explain all of it. We're gonna get started with Bitcoin and Ethereum and OMI. After that, we're gonna be talking about the overall market. A lot there that looks good to me. Then we have about 6 swings I can talk about. We'll talk about CLOV, Fisker. We got a good amount of things to talk about. What's up, the guy? Levi, Nerve, Steven, KTF, Barasan, Cheddar Freeze, Plebber Ray. How's everybody doing? We put down the music a little bit. Even found a Christmas lo-fi playlist. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's get started. Bitcoin bounced off the 200-day moving average. 8% bounce off of that. Pulling back a couple percent right now after tapping 50.4K resistance back from August 23rd and also a support from March 25th. So you're kind of in between a support at 46.7K and resistance at 50.4K right now in Bitcoin. 4 hour, maybe you could chart something like this. Let's not do that. Something like that. You got 4 touches for right now. We'll see which way it breaks. And then Ethereum is looking pretty interesting to me. You bounced at around, 38, 3900, 4000. Between 3800 and 4K, you've bounced 1, 2, 3, 4 times now on Ethereum. You go over to the daily, there's a new alert on it, not financial advice. Not a good start to it either. It's down a couple percent because Bitcoin just pulled back as well. But trying to hold this 3961 support, just bounced a little bit off of it. From over here was support, it was just resistance here. So we'll see if it can hold it. Potential for classic bullish divergence on the daily, and if you zoom out, you got a cup and handle formation. It was even looking like a cup and handle to me just with this right over here, right? This was looking like a cup and handle to me, but I just extended it out. Not really a perfect neckline by any means, but you're getting a wedge. And targets I put were just retesting previous all-time highs, the 1272 and the 1618 from this high to this low, and stop loss I put was just under that low. So yeah, Ethereum, OMI, nice movement lately, confirmed classic bullish divergence on the daily. It's just resistance is at 0.00604. We'll see if it can break it eventually, but it's looking really interesting right here. See if it can maybe get a 3 white soldiers candle pattern or something tomorrow night on the stream. That's really it for crypto. What's going on with stocks? Futures are higher. Honestly, that's what I was expecting coming into tonight. And I also think that this could be a good week for the market. We're going to break down everything. But yeah, see what the economic calendar looks like. Shout out to Cheddar Freeze for sharing it. Nothing tomorrow. PPI on Tuesday. And then FOMC statement and economic projections, as well as Jerome Powell speaks around 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Initial jobs claims on Thursday. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing for this week. All bets in ET or EST. So that's what's going on this week, and everything that's happening right now in the market makes complete sense to me. I like the price action. I like how a lot of different stocks are looking. I like how a lot of the indices are looking. I like the seasonality aspect to everything right now. Things looking pretty good to me. We already got past CPI numbers last Friday. Had a 1% green day for the S&P 500, almost 1% for the Nasdaq. A little bit of redness, or just red, in ARKK and the Russell 2000. So on Friday, when we had those CPI numbers, I think it was 6.8 or something. You saw, the SPY and the Nasdaq go up. You saw small caps, mid caps pull back a little bit. But those also did have a really nice rally the first few days of the week last week. So we're already past that. We already know what it looks like. I know Biden said something about those numbers as well, not reflecting, I think, energy or gas or something. He said on Thursday, the day before. I wasn't live Thursday night. And then this week we have FOMC. Now, you've had Powell be a little bit more hawkish recently. But again, we're already past CPI, and I guess this week we might see what the reaction to that is. But we were already showing, the Fed already showed hawkishness, right? So the thing about the market is you're going to start pricing things in. And, we had a couple, I think Thursday was a red day overall for the market. And obviously we had the pullback earlier a couple weeks ago. So right now, I think the worst is probably over. Of course, anything can happen. We even had Omicron. I don't really know how to pronounce it. I still know. Let's see. So this, I think it was Thursday night is when we had this news and a couple other news. Not Thursday night, but the Thanksgiving night. We had, Omicron kind of spreading around everywhere in the media, and then a couple other pieces of news. And if everybody remembers, Black Friday was horrible this year. So one day ago, this is from ABC. No CDC data shows there have been new CDC data shows there have been no deaths among the 43 confirmed cases in the US of the new variant. But one vaccinated patient was hospitalized for 2 days. So yeah, we have that as well. I think the worst is past us for a lot of these different things, but you always got to remember anything can happen in the market. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look at the charts. All right, go over to the SPY. Last week, we were pretty much where the screen arrow is pointing to. I told you last week that you had a bunch of different bullish technicals and that there was a lot of fear being spread around in the media and on social media about the market coming into last week. And I was saying it just didn't make sense to me. Things were looking good to me. Volume looked really good to me on the SPY for a bounce. I showed a bunch of other variables like that descending broadening wedge over here. You're looking at moving averages. It was between the 50 and the 100-day moving average on pretty much exactly a week ago when I was live. And I said, things look good to me. And then we went on to have a really nice rally pretty much every day of the week apart from Thursday for the market. And we're still looking pretty good in my opinion. You now have confirmed hidden bullish divergence on the daily for the SPY on both oscillators, okay? This 466.5 level we were watching last week, look, it was used as support on Thursday's low and on Friday's low. You bounced off that level twice. It was a level back from November 18th, November 15th, and kind of a high from November 4th. So that's now your support. You have clear support. And then what else happened? Okay, let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. Let's zoom out. You found this little support over here where this bottom blue zone is. You bounced off of it twice. Then you started making higher lows on Friday. And into the close, the SPY was able to take out the short-term resistance over here, and then also these little peaks from November. It was able to take out all of them and closed above all of them as well. And your futures are up right now. So you're taking out major resistance after everything that happened, which looks pretty good to me. Now, if you also remember, I was bringing this up last week where we talked about that bearish harmonic development. Now I said, well, we have a descending broadening wedge with a bearish harmonic. Well, if we just looked back a little bit, we had the same exact thing over here back in October. And I said, the last time we had this setup, the bearish harmonic really didn't play out at all. It just kept going and running to new all-time highs. And over here, we got a little bit of a reaction at the 86% retrace. Now we're currently at the 90% retrace. So we're still kind of within the zone, but really all you had was about a 1% pull before recovering it and going higher, making a higher high. So you're getting higher highs, higher lows. Your 1 hour is not overbought coming into the week. And honestly, I think SPY can easily hit all-time highs this week. It's 0.5% away, a little bit more than that. It's just I want to see it hold a 466.5 That's the level we were talking about. Yeah, 466.5. As long as it can hold that this week, I'm bullish. If that breaks, then we'll talk about maybe, 460 getting retested or something like that. But as long as that level's holding, I'm good for right now when it comes to this SPY. What else do we have? If we go over to the weekly on the Nasdaq, we now have quadruple hidden bullish divergence on the Nasdaq weekly. If we go over to the daily, I talked about this exactly a week ago as well, that we got an 8% dip in April, we got an 8% dip in September, and then we just got an 8% dip from the end of November into this month. And that 8% number has been working on the Nasdaq, and now you have hidden bullish divergence developing again. It's already confirmed on the SPY. So that looks good to me. If we take a look at the QQQ, it's just showing a little bit of resistance over here around 400. So we'll see if that can break at some point. Moving on to the ARK ETF, got a little bit of a gap fill around 95. We'll see if that fills. But if we go over to the 4-hour, you're testing that supply line of this descending broadening wedge. We even talked about this last week, that $89 level. I think, we talked about on Sunday night a week ago. And then on Monday, it bounced beautifully off the level, went all the way up to 104 before pulling back down to 96. So I would like to see the ARK reclaim 97.20 from May's low this week. And then moving on to the Russell 2000, it filled a gap on Friday. It filled the top of the wick and then also filled the close of December 6th on Friday. So you filled a gap there on the Russell 2000. Hopefully it can break out of this wedge at some point and just make a higher low than over here. That's really all I'm hoping for. This could happen. 1 second. This could easily happen, maybe, something like that. Or maybe even that would be good. But I don't really see any bearish variables. Remember, last week going into the week, all I saw was bullish technicals for the most part. Then I said on Wednesday night, you're starting to get some lower time frame bearish technicals. That's what we talked about towards the middle of the week last week. And then on Thursday, you got a pullback because of those lower time frames being bearish. And then Friday, you bounced back a little bit on the S&P and the Nasdaq, but not the ARK and the Russell 2000. So now you still have bullish variables, but you also kind of took out your low time frame bearish variables because of that dip. And now you're creating pretty good looking charts. So from a technical standpoint, market looks bullish to me right now. And we even talked about this last week. We said we're getting this reflex rally, we're getting this reaction low, right? We put in a bottom, we got to a place where market participants were comfortable with buying stocks, and we bounced. And I said, that's good. We have one bounce, but you might want to see some sort of a double bottom, even a higher low double bottom, because confirming something as a bottom one time is okay. It pretty much means, a bunch of stocks get down to a bunch of different prices. And then for the most part, most people are willing to buy those stocks at those prices. But then you bounce, and then a lot of people, maybe a lot of people who've been in the red for weeks and weeks ever since this top was put in on the Russell 2000, they sell that bounce because they just want profits after just horrible weeks for them. So then you start selling off again, just some short-term profit takers, and then you really see, when we get down to these levels, or even if we make a higher low, is it really true that people want to buy stocks again, especially in a lot of these mid-cap growth and small-cap sectors? So now we're seeing that. We talked about all of this. We talked about the initial bounce. We talked about the low time frame bearishness. We also talked about looking for that higher low or even double bottom to confirm the thesis of these technicals. Okay. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the overall market. Taking a look at the US 10-year, just testing the 200-day moving average at 1.5. The VIX is testing the 200-day moving average at 1870. Gold is just kind of going sideways, but it has some hidden bullish divergence on daily. I'm a pretty big fan of gold's chart right now. Not financial advice, but a bunch of different time frames look really interesting to me on gold. And if we take a look at the dollar, it's just still in this little pennant that we were talking about. So we'll see if it breaks out one way or the other. Maybe I'll set some alerts. All right, so that's really it for the market this week. I'm bullish, I'm bullish, but at the same time, I could flip to bearish in 2 days. If we see not the best of news on Wednesday at 2 p.m., maybe I switch over, we'll see. But until then, as long as we hold these levels I just talked about, things look good to me. And I'm kind of looking at the swings and just how I'm trading recently in the point of view that I'm not looking to chase things. I'd rather actually in this scenario be early and wrong than be chasing a bunch of stocks and buying the tops, right? So I put out a flurry of new swings last week. I still have a bunch more that are just sitting in my watch list. And really what I'm looking for is I already knew that we had that first low, which was, the bounce, the reflex rally. whatever you want to call it. And now, you know, I put out some swings over here because there was no way for me to know 100% what the future could have been. We could have just kept rallying off of that first low we put in, but I was also giving room for the chance of this happening where we pull back a little bit first, and that's why I still have like half of the amount of swings ready that I'm looking at for the next couple of days to put out. Of course, things can change, but for me, it's like, why put yourself in a situation where you have to chase things? Not financial advice. If you're a breakout trader, that could also work out nicely, just especially for more confirmation after getting, you know, about a whole month of selling off in these sectors. But for me, it's like, a lot of people talk about this, whether it's business or relationships, the person who has the ability to walk has the power, right? So if I'm getting into a bunch of trades right now, I can leave if they dip down 5, 6, 7%, stop myself out, and then just wait for variables to come again. I can walk if I need to, but for right now, I don't have a reason to walk. If I get a reason to walk, I'll stop myself out, I'll wait for a while. I'm fine with taking small losses for at least giving the chance for a lot of these technicals to play out. So things are looking good to me right here. If anybody just joined the stream, I definitely recommend watching the past 15 minutes that you missed after the timestamps are out later tonight. So that's my thoughts on the overall market. We got a bunch of other stocks to talk about. See for Bleak says recent tip vibes. Yep. A little bit of green and red there in the bottom under the chat. Cheddar Free says we're looking good for a potential Santa rally. See if we can blow over the bear crab PRC on SPY. Exactly what I'm thinking as well. The guy says I love me some tech stocks. That's another point I want to bring up. A lot of people talked about this over the weekend that I was seeing on social media, where I don't want to bring up like a chart, but I mean, this is something we've known for a long time. But I mean, for the majority of this year, we've seen the SPY and the Nasdaq just hit new all-time highs and hit new all-time highs. And, you know, that definitely paints a picture that, oh my gosh, it's just an insane bull market. But the reality is so many of these stocks are under their 200-day moving averages. So many of these stocks are down 50% from their highs. It's just the top, you know, 10 stocks in the Nasdaq and the S&P that are really, really carrying the weight because they hold larger weightings, you know, some of them. But I mean, you have things like Apple and Nvidia just running and running. There's so many, even Ford's been running like crazy. So all of them are just kind of getting dragged up. But then if you go and look at things like this, like we've done multiple times this year, you definitely put in highs in February. We've talked about that. You know, a lot of the speculation money kind of just disappeared in February and really hasn't come back since. We saw a nice little move in May that was amazing for the swings. I think we had the best week of swings ever on this rally. But really, we're just from over there, we're down 40% if we take a look at the Russell 2000. It continued to run, but it didn't really feel like it because it was for the most part just going sideways. Meanwhile, the SPY was doing, you know, something like this, right? So we'll see what happens. Guy says all I want for Christmas is for you to hit the like button. I agree with that. So what else is going on? Let's start off with Fisker and CLOV. We'll start with Fisker. It was flat on Friday. You've got hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily like we talked about. Bounced off the 200-day moving average last week. 4-hour chart, you've got some hidden bullish divergence nearly confirmed as well, but it does have some resistance around 19 bucks from this low and this high. That's really it for Fisker. I still need to wait for some more data on Fisker. If we take a look at CLOV, I'm watching this supply line on the 4-hour and on the 1-hour. You've got developing hidden bullish divergence. It's currently at about a 50% retrace from the low just put in. And we're getting closer and closer to that supply line by the day. Honestly, if that supply line breaks, I think a lot of people probably have that charted as well. If that breaks, I mean, you really could go up to retest. Let's see if I could find a better time frame to retest all of these resistances that I've charted here, right? So we'll see if we can do it. Even on the 15-minute, you're testing a breakout of a wedge as of the close on Friday. So, well, it's not really there yet, but it's very close, in my opinion, in terms of I'm not saying it's going to go up for sure. I'm just saying it's very close to a potential breakout. And it could easily happen this week, literally, with the 2 or 3% move higher. You get a breakout of that. And you've been in this patterns for nearly a month, 3 weeks. So that's CLOV. Talk about the swings, DraftKings. Down a little bit. You know, the timing on the swings last week, again, this was my plan at the start. I even put this in the announcements channel in the Discord. What's up, Medi? I put this in the announcements channel in the Discord last week. You know, I had a large list of swings I was potentially going to put out. I put out half last week on Wednesday just because I didn't know if we were going to keep rallying or if we were going to pull back. The last time, I think it was September, whatever, we just kept on rallying. So I was like, I'm going to put out half now in case we do keep rallying. If not, the stops are pretty much positioned in a place where even if we do dip again, the stops are under the previous lows. Like you could see over here, you know, we had that bounce I was talking about on the market, and if we were to dip again, even if we still do on DraftKings, the stop is set up so it's just under that previous low. If we make a lower low, then most of these swings get stopped out. But all I'm hoping is for all of the swings right now, you know, most of them are kind of down a little bit. I'm just hoping at some point they do something like that. So it's not really about timing perfectly. It's just, for me, it's just averaging them out. And that's why even on Friday, I put out a couple swings, and then even I have right now about 10 more on my watch list. I'm probably not going to put out 10 this week, but we'll see how they start reacting. So in terms of the technicals on DraftKings, you have confirmed classic bullish divergence. It's still kind of testing this breakout. You could see a lot more clearly on the 1 hour chart. I drew another supply line there. I do have some DraftKings calls actually for this week. So just maybe back testing a breakout for right now. We'll see if we can get going again. SU, new swing, hidden bullish divergence, potential cup and handle. Very, very simple. Really not complicated at all. Just watch it, see if we can break out this little consolidation pullback area and somehow but hopefully get above 26, and then hit the target at 27, 28 is the gap fill target, and then 29 is the historical level target. So very simple one. Right there is SU. Then the next swing is GM. This one had a nice little close on Friday, up 6%, triple hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily, nearly confirmed. A break, hook, and go of an inverse head and shoulders above the 200-day moving average, and it's pushing up to the $64 level. If it clears, I think that's all-time highs. If it clears this little resistance at 64.65, that's all-time highs on GM. So watching that very, very closely. Next one is Snap. Very similar to DraftKings, not the best start, but still just hoping for it to hold above these areas. Stop loss here is a little bit under this gap fill. It's still above this major support zone. Just looking for a higher low. Got that classic bullish divergence. Really not much of a technical change, just pulled back a little bit. Then you have VLO. This one's been sitting at the entry for like a week now, but you do have confirmed hidden bullish divergence. They put in a low over here, so you did make a higher low. Just want to see it start going. That's really it. Might need some more volume maybe. And then finally, SWN. This one, this is out of most of these swings, this is one of the only ones I did a little bit of fundamental analysis on, but they've done really good on their recent earnings. They're growing as a company. They do have pretty high expenses, but again, they're trying to grow. So on the weekly, you have this ascending triangle formation with hidden bullish divergence developing a potential inverse head and shoulders. You had nearly a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly last week. On the daily, you have this little bullish bat playing out, pretty much already hit, targets. But if this can just take you to break out of 580, then you're clearing a resistance that you really haven't cleared since 2017. So yeah, this one's up a little bit since the entry as well. Oh, and I forgot, 4-hour right angle descending broadening wedge as well that it broke out of on the final 4-hour candle close of the week last week. So, oh my gosh, I mean, all of these charts are just showing up at the same time. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's not, but maybe it is. And I did send out a watch list with about 7 or 8 takers to premium members today. I'll share 2 of them on stream right now. Lucid, I'm not really looking at this as a swing for right now. I mean, there's a potential for some divergence developing on the daily. It's back testing a little small level at 35.66. But what I'm really watching on Lucid is this. You got 1-hour classic bullish divergence. You're retesting that level on the daily. And you can look at it in 2 different ways. You can look at it as a shark where the B to D is just really shallow, but you have a 618 from X to B and a 1618 from A to C, and now you're bouncing at the 886. You even had a bullish pin bar off the 886. You can look at it like that, or we could just draw a bat, and I think the B point's just really low. If we draw it like this, your B point's near 618 and your C point's pretty much like a double top. But again, we're just looking for, I'm not looking for perfect harmonics. I'm just matching together divergence with support with multiple different Fibonacci retraces in a row and a bullish pin bar. So Lucid, I'm watching for a short-term move this week. And then a longer-term one, let me see which one I should share. We'll look at Wix. So Wix, if we zoom out over here, you have this wedge pattern. On the daily, your MACD is close to crossing over to green. You have triple classic bullish divergence on the RSI. You're at an inflection zone. This is a previous range from 2019 and a resistance from 2020. Now you just use it as support off of your low last week. You even had a hammer candle on December 3rd, and all this is taking place at the PCZ of a bullish cipher. So yeah, if you want weekly watch lists with stuff like this every single Sunday, Premium's the first link in the description. But those are 2 out of the 7 or 8 that I shared today. So yeah, that's pretty much for the most part what I wanted to talk about. But a lot of these stocks are lining up, indices are lining up. I mean, I think probability lies in the favor of bulls for the next couple of weeks. Doesn't mean certainty will ever lie with bulls or bears. All right. Make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description. Watch the free course. Link is in the description. If you want to participate in the free to join stock market game for the free trading movement, it ends at the end of this month. The top 3 placements will get prizes. That link is in the description. Premium's there. Disclaimers there. Check out all the links in the description. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We're on the way to 4,000 subs. I really appreciate all the support. And yeah. William wants to look at Tesla. That's actually another one I set on the watch list today. So I guess we're going to be showing 3 on the stream tonight. So on the daily, you have some hidden bullish divergence potentially developing. On the 4-hour chart, you have classic bullish divergence developing, and you're kind of creating this little wedge. You have 3 touches on the supply line and 3 on the demand line. So I would just like Tesla to hold above this zone between 945 and 1,000. But this is the support zone. If it breaks it, then it might go fill that gap at around $910. So I just want to see it hold this zone. You had a nice bullish pin bar candle. That's the first 4-hour candle on Friday. And 1-hour chart. Just want to see it hold this low probably. Try and make a higher low. So yeah, I just want Tesla to hold above this support. Otherwise, it might drop back down around 900 to fill this gap and retest that previous high. So it's either it holds this support and maybe runs back up to 1,100, 1,200, or if this support doesn't hold this week, it could retest the lower $900 area. So I literally just say it could go either way, but that's how stocks work. And really, it's just about figuring out which way it confirms first. It's not trying to predict the future. It's just looking for confirmation, volume, and variables to see which one maybe has a higher probability in the short term or even long term. Thank you for dropping the Discord link in the chat. Try to freeze. So yeah, I went live at 9 o'clock tonight. I could have went live at 8 again. I'm just trying to, I don't know, switch up the times a little bit to see, you know, at what times the viewership is the best. Honestly, I thought, because typically we're doing 9 o'clock for almost the last year, and that's, you know, how things have been going pretty well in the last few weeks. I started doing like an hour earlier, and it, you know, viewers have just been much lower than normal. Not much of a difference tonight, so I don't know. I might just go back to the 8 o'clock time, or maybe I'll just do a poll again or something on Twitter. But we'll figure it out. Appreciate all the support. So let's look at. Sorry, let's look at some charts now. Drop some tickers in the chat. We'll take a look. I'll take a look. Not financial advice. Don't request anything up over 30% on Friday. Do not request any OTCs. Don't request any new IPOs. Simply because I don't know most of those companies. I can't know the fundamentals of every company, and you can't chart something without much candles or without many candles on a chart. So that's the only reason I say for IPOs. All right. Also, how are we not at 20 likes? I know there's 25 people in here, but 10 of you probably haven't hit the like button. Hit that like button right now. New overlay, bullish variables for the market. I mean, things are good right now. I don't think a lot of people are really realizing it just yet, but things are really, really setting up. Let's get some vibes in the chat for Nerve with the $7 tip, echoing Santa Rally vibes. Nerve, thank you very much for the tip. Drop some vibes in the chat. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, Nerve. Thank you for all the tips. Been here for almost since day one. So thank you very much. Vibes in the chat for Nerve. So we got Lemonade. All right, we're gonna start off with Lemonade. Not much, it's just testing this previous all-time low from September. If that holds, then I'd say your next resistance is around $60. And after that, 79. If it doesn't hold, then I don't know, maybe fibs from this low to this high. You're pretty much at your 1272, and then your 161 will be at 24 roughly. So you probably want to hold this. Otherwise, not a lot of support below. Mara, hidden bullish divergence is developing on the MACD and the RSI. These are your levels. And pretty much a bullish bat. Got a 30% bounce in 3 days. Wow, off the first low. Then you pulled back 15, 16%. So, I mean, that also lines up with 200-day moving average. So you have a bat, hidden bullish divergence on both oscillators, and a 200-day moving average. If this can get back above 45 from this high over here and this high, I think there's a pretty easy move to 57 from 45 if the volume's there. Not financial advice. But it depends on whether or not it can hold these levels. METX, it's retesting its lows from October. If that holds, the resistances are charted. If that doesn't hold, you could use fibs, and your 1272 would be down at around 15, 16 cents. MACD is moving towards green on the daily. Probably close to an alternate bat. C point's a little bit high, and B point's at a golden retrace, so it's not textbook. Well, you're around a 1.07 retrace before this bullish engulfing candle, and 27% bounce. We really had an aggressive start to the week last week, and the SPY bounced like 5% or something. APPN, you chart it like this, and what was once a demand line is now your supply line, so you just want to break back above it. If you just chart it like that, then I guess you're still above it. Then maybe chart your supply line like this, and then those are your levels that I see. This is actually the big one I see, 63. From this high over here, this high over here, and this low over here was almost your low over here. No divergence. And yeah. Close to an alternate bat. There we go, 23 likes. We just got like 10 new people that hopped in the stream. Just join the stream. If you're new to the stream, hit the subscribe button, but if you just joined the stream, go back and watch the first 15 minutes, either now or when the stream is over, when the timestamps are up. Remember, there's always timestamps after the stream. Mehdi does them usually out like an hour after the stream, and I'll let you know on Twitter and on Discord when they're out. But go watch the first 15 minutes if you didn't. We got 30 people in here now. We just had like 18 people in here. So if you just hopped in, you need to watch that. That's pretty much what I want you to watch more than anything else from this stream. First 15 minutes, all right? Got to do that. That prepares you for the week. And I was pretty aggressively bullish. Keep in mind, these are just technicals. For people who are new here, remember, I'm showing a bunch of bullish variables, but I'm always prepared for the worst, okay? And you have to be as a trader. All right, SOFI, bullish shark, and bullish divergence developing. I just want to see it hold this little support zone. That's literally, if it can hold it, I think this thing can have a really nice run. Not financial advice. It just needs to hold this $13 to $15 support. If it can do that, you got resistance at 1756 and then 1977. Really that simple on SOFI for right now. Just retesting the lows from last week. Tattooed Chef, it's also in a support zone. Looks very similar to SOFI. Just want to see it hold around 15 bucks. And definitely broke a little bit of a short-term wedge here. So we'll see if it can get going. If it can't bounce here, then, you know, under 14, that's when it gets a little bit more riskier from a support standpoint. But if it can bounce here, then I'd say up to 19, you don't have much resistance. Space is at a make or break area, 1454. It's been holding this really since May of 2020. If that breaks, I'd say there's room back down to 12 bucks. If that holds, you got a gap fill at 20. Yeah, I think if this holds, space climb back up to 20. If it breaks, drop down to 12. Not financial advice. And you also got some classic bullish divergence on the daily MACD. Marijuana ETF, what was once a supply line is now acting as a demand line. Not going to be a conventional harmonic, but we can write it. So not a real harmonic, but XABCD. And then if you also take a look, you just delete this 1061 area Was support here, 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 and you got down to 11 instead of 1061, but you got there. So yeah. QS, I haven't looked at that. Oh, actually, I just looked at QS over the weekend. I was scanning. Today I looked at QS. What am I saying? So QS, before I even look at the chart, let me see if my memory is correct. It's dropping down. You've got some bullish variables. I think it might even be like a low time frame bullish harmonic. But on QS, it broke under a previous resistance level. And let me show you that right now. I was looking at this earlier. There we go. So this is the level that QS broke under. Okay, 2460. It was resistance from July 14th to August 11th. I was looking for it to hold this level. Unfortunately, it broke it. I would like to see QS reclaim that level for me to get excited about it. It could easily reclaim that level. I just want to see it do that first. It only has to bounce like 3 or 4%. And then on lower time frames, like I said, see, I'm charting. Got this bullish shark. I had one bounce off the low, trying to maybe put in a reversal low. Now, if it puts in this reversal low, gets back above 25, you got a little bit of resistance at 2660, but honestly, after that, not much until 32. So I just wanted to see QS maybe kind of spring here, maybe even back test it, and then boom. If not, then maybe it heads back down. The support area is around 20. DKS, I look at it like this. Only 4 touches though. MACD crossover to green. Maybe a shark. Too deep on the D point. What hit? Got close to a 2618 from B to C. I don't know, kind of bounced in a somewhat random area, but I guess there was a little bit of support around 106 from this low and these lows. Not much I can do on this chart. PROG. I'd like to see us get back above the 200 moving average. You could see it broke above it over here, and then it was support. Had a nice little run. Unfortunately, it broke it here, and now it's resistance. So I'd like to see 200-day moving average act as support and not resistance. Support, I see, you have a nice little support zone here from around 208 to 229 from these lows over here to this low right over here. So hopefully you can just hold this little blue box and reclaim that yellow line, the 200-day moving average. And we did look at DKS. BABA has just been getting demolished. Like a lot of other Chinese stocks. Let me clear this up. 130 is a big level that it's now under. It was you double bottom from October of 2018 and in January of 2019. It broke under that level. I'd really like to see it get back above that level. Kind of bounced over here. Look at that. 108.79. Why did it randomly bounce there? Well, look, it was resistance from 2016. Just shows you how fake TA is. This 119 previous all-time high didn't really act as much. So those are your short-term levels. Break above 130, good. Break under 108.79, not good. Got a gap fill at 161. So yeah, those are the levels I see on BABA. There's not much to do apart from that. B point's a little bit low. This is pretty close to an alternate bat. I don't know if I'd look at it like this, but yeah, C point's too high. So that's BABA. Probably want to do some fundamental analysis there as well. Microsoft is another one I'm keeping a close eye on. This definitely has to be some premium members just asking for tickers in the watch list, but Microsoft is breaking above this 338 level. You could see how many times this level acted as resistance, okay, and even support. And it just broke above it with the break, all right, let me just draw this out. A break, a hook, and a go, all right? There's a little bit of chop here around 343. If it can clear that, there's not much left until 349, the previous all-time high. So big levels are being broken on Microsoft. It's another one I'm watching short term this week, like Lucid. We'll see if we can break above it. Got to keep an eye on the potential for an overbought RSI and some maybe classic bearish divergence as well, though. And yeah, if we just take a look at the daily, I mean, just boom, just broke above all this chop right over here, just right above it. Looks very similar to Ford actually. Ford did something very, very similar. It was in this little consolidation zone. I honestly thought this was breaking down last Monday, but then it just kind of sprung it out, just boom, busted out of that little zone. And now, I mean, if you're gonna use one wick over here, or even just this low, you have some potential hidden bullish divergence and nice jump in volume as well on Friday. So you're getting some breakouts on a lot of these stocks. There's not much resistance on Ford. Got a little bit at 21.76 from these lows. If that breaks, there's not much until 26. Up 10% on Friday. This came out on December 8th. I don't think that was Friday. Actually, no, it definitely wasn't. Netflix, haven't looked at that. I like to see, I mean, it could bounce here. Looks like I charted this recently as well. Maybe a little bit of descending broadening wedge. Bounced at 595, which was resistance from September 22nd and September 2nd and January 19th. So that's where it looks. If it holds this low and then it breaks the supply line, maybe it runs back up to retest all-time highs. If it doesn't, then another high probability bounce area zone would just be this. Like, I mean, well, let me do that. You could use 590 from this high, but even more so, like, if you just look at like that, like all of these different highs in the past. What a beautiful triangle, or just even range. And he's a little bit shallow, but also close to his cipher. Pretty much a bullish cipher as well. We had one low, and we'll see if we can put in a reverse law. Oh, you just put sharp on Netflix. I look at it as more of a cipher though, because it went down towards closer to a 786. I don't know if you have it charted differently. Maybe if you use this like little low, then yeah, it's pretty much closer to that. So yeah, a lot of things are set up right now. Bitcoin's pulling back, unfortunately, though. We're gonna do short expiration out of the money calls and puts for SPY. Pretty bearish. 19% calls, 19% calls to puts. So a lot of puts that are short term. A lot of fear in the market. The fear and greed index right now is currently out, or is currently at 38 out of 100. So you have fear in the market, but we're at all-time highs. But again, a lot of these stocks are not at all-time highs. Just those top bunch of stocks are just dragging up the indices. But now you're getting variables on a lot of different stocks, you know. So I like this fear. I actually do like this fear. Same thing for the QQQ for the tech. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000 as well. Same thing. So just a lot of puts right now. You even take a look at it over here. It's a QQQ. You can see those puts are much, much higher, but open interest on calls started going up on Friday, right? Yeah, 10th was Friday. So interesting variables. What else here? Lucid. Pretty good short-term expiration out of the money calls to puts. Tesla's pretty 50-50. A lot of calls towards the end of the day. Yeah, right before the close, a lot of calls came in on Tesla. Saw a lot of people made huge gains on Oracle at the end of last week. Palantir, it looks similar to Fubo and DraftKings to me. Looks like it's breaking out its little wedge, maybe back testing a little bit. You got some classic bullish divergence on the daily, a little bit of a random area to bounce, but that's fine. So we'll just see if maybe some volume come in and can start breaking above 21 or something. And Oracle just went crazy. I don't know what happened. They have earnings. Oracle shares were up more than 16% Friday afternoon after posted better than expected fiscal Q2 results and expanded its share buyback plan to $10 billion. Adjusted earnings of $1.21 per share, with an estimate of $1.11. Revenue also beat by what? That's $200 million. Not much I can do here. Support maybe at $98, $99. And then I just use fibs. Pretty much tap the 1618, pull back a little bit off of it on Friday, and then the 2618 is at 117. But even take a look at how Oracle looked. I mean, look at this. Right? Hidden bullish divergence was already developing going into that. And again, the move was completely 100% because of earnings, but even from a technical standpoint, I mean, variables were certainly there. Whale tracker. I'll look into that later. I don't know where it is exactly. Thank you, though. Futures still doing pretty well right now. Oh, I forgot to even look at futures earlier. Look at this. Look at futures right now. Look at that. I charted this a little while back. Look how perfectly that played out. And also look at what futures are doing right now. Look how they're taking out this resistance zone. Look at that. That's S&P 500 futures. Also look at Nasdaq futures. Kind of like an inverse head and shoulders. I was looking at this before the stream. A lot of different things are lining up right now. Nasdaq futures can clear 16.45. Okay. Sheesh. A lot of these stocks are just kind of running up to these resistances, and if they break them, all you really have left is previous all-time highs. Even some 4-hour hidden bullish divergence on Russell 2000 futures. Also kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders. I mean, look at that. Very, very interesting. Alright, so that's probably going to be it for the stream tonight. Thank you for watching the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the coverage and the new overlay and everything. I'm excited. Hopefully maybe other people start getting excited, but I might be completely wrong. If that happens, that happens. You know, maybe we just completely flop for the next few weeks. It's possible. Hopefully not. So yeah, good luck in the market this week. A lot of different setups right now. Hopefully they can start showing some confirmation, get going. But a lot of things are kind of at the place where they put in the reflex rallies, the first lows. Now they're working on those second lows. If those second lows get confirmed, we'll probably see a lot of euphoria if they get confirmed. But that euphoria is not there. They're not confirmed yet. We'll see what happens. Go back and watch the first 15 of the stream if you didn't watch in the beginning. Have a good night. Join the Discord, links in the description. If you want to join premium, links in the description. Free courses in the description, disclaimers are in the description, trading simulator game is in the description, all of that's there. Have a good night, peace out.